Mr. Trollope and I will be doing a review show. So once again, you are welcome to the Coach's Corner. I am, of course, Manny Thangadurai. You are joining me. And very soon you will be joining Hanno as well. I'm just waiting for him to come. He said that he won't be here from the very beginning. But I am here to start the stream. And this is, of course, going to be a review of the games that were played over the weekend at the ICC 2020 World Cup in Australia. Now, there have, of course, been some complaints about how some of the games being washed out have sort of turned the tournament into a bit of a farce. But T20 being T20, the tournament has also provided some exceptionally thrilling matches and exciting finishes. None more so exciting, or few more so exciting than the finish to the first of three games played today between Bangladesh and Zimbabwe. And of course, yesterday, New Zealand and Sri Lanka played a game where the Kiwis once again showed how dominant they were and how dominant they've been in this tournament so far, certainly looking like good candidates to qualify from Group 1 and completely upsetting the apple cart because, mind you, Australia and New Zealand, as the defending champions and hosts and the world's second-ranked team, respectively, were predicted to qualify, but both of them have had some very chastening losses. So it will be seen what becomes of them, and that is what we will be discussing later on in this stream. Of course, today we will be talking about the games that have been played this weekend, and we will be speaking about the New Zealand-Sri Lanka game, because obviously we had that stream on Friday, and so we will be talking about the New Zealand-Sri Lanka game as well as the three games played today. But earlier today, I just want to thank all of you who joined in for our marathon 4-hour stream of the India-South Africa match. That was an absolute cracker of a game, really, between two of the more dominant teams in Group 2. And based on the evidence seen, they are the two teams most likely to qualify, although the other teams, including Zimbabwe, Bangladesh, and Pakistan, still have some chance of being able to qualify. And as for the Netherlands, well, all we can do is, expect them to try and pull off a shock in one of their next games. Could it be against South Africa? Could it be against Zimbabwe, maybe? We don't know. But we will certainly start by talking a little bit about the weekend game that was played. When I say the weekend, I mean the Saturday game. And that basically featured New Zealand and Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka, of course, having had to work exceptionally hard to qualify for the Super 12s after an almighty struggle, losing to Namibia, but somehow managing to pull the chestnuts out of the fire with wins over the United Arab Emirates and the Netherlands. And of course, the Netherlands ended up qualifying for the Super 12s themselves at Namibia's expense when they had that shock loss to the UAE. But I will speak a little bit about the weekend game, that is the Saturday game rather, and that, of course, was the Kiwis against Sri Lanka. So as you can see, this was the result from Saturday's game. It was a nighttime encounter, and Sri Lanka lost that game by 65 runs. So the toss was won by New Zealand, who elected to bat first and obviously wanted to take advantage of good batting conditions, but they got off to a rather inauspicious start, losing Finn Allen for 1 in the first over, and the other opener, Devon Conway, departed in the second over. So both of their openers were back in the pavilion, and only 7 runs were on the board. And then Kane Williamson didn't last too long, made a breezy 8, and then, not really breezy because it took him 13 balls and then went away. But then it turned into the Glenn Phillips show, and he was able to come really good with an amazing century, another one in the tournament. I think the second one after Riley Russo, South Africa. 4 sixes and 10 fours dotted his innings. from 64 balls at a strike rate of 162. And along with Daryl Mitchell, he was able to enter a partnership of 84 runs, which did a lot to take momentum away from South Africa. It lasted for a good portion of 10 and a half overs, in fact, before eventually Mitchell was bowled by Wenindu de Silva. And Mitchell didn't really contribute too much, but he obviously lent a supporting hand while Phillips was playing his shots. And then, of course, another partnership of 30 close to the end, and then wickets falling on the last two balls to try and give Sri Lanka a little bit of respectability. But from that middle order innings, it was clear that New Zealand were not really going to struggle. And it was really only some more than decent fielding and bowling near the end, which helped Sri Lanka contain New Zealand to 167, although in between some of their fielding was not really the best. In fact, their captain made it very clear that their drop catches hurt them quite a bit. And as far as their bowlers were concerned, Kasun Rajitha was able to pick up 2 wickets for 23 from his 4 overs. 6 bowlers were used in the innings, and obviously the captain, Dasun Shanaka, was trying to rotate his bowlers as best as he could. Lahiru Kumara was whacked for 37 off 3, 2 sixes and 2 fours. And also mentioned for Karunaratne, who was hit for 34, 1 6 and 3 fours in that. So clearly, when it came to rotating his bowlers, he tried his best to, break the partnership, and eventually that partnership in the middle was broken, and then it was a case of a few bowlers chipping in. And then when it came to the batting, it was effectively the Bolt and Southee show, with New Zealand's fast bowlers pretty much running through the innings. A couple of scores of above 30 from Rajapaksha and the captain, Shanaka himself, but they were never really going to repair the damage which was done by the New Zealand quicks. And you could see how Southee was able to operate. In the first over, he got rid of one of the opener, Nissanka. And the second opener, Kushal Mendis, was taken out in the second over by Trent Boult. And from there, it was pretty much a sad tale of not a single batsman able to get in. Some poor shots were played. Dhananjaya de Silva was bowled. And in fact, there were 3 ducks in that innings, 3 scores of 4, 1 score, actually, 4 scores of 4, 1 score of 3, 1 score of 8. So apart from the captain and Rajapaksha, no one else got to double figures, and the bowling figures itself will tell a story. You see right here, Boult once again, we don't call him the lightning bolt for nothing. He was able to snag 4 for 13 off his 4 overs, magnificently economical and very incisive. 1 for 12 for Tim Southee, impressive maiden over as well. Lockie Ferguson was perhaps a little bit expensive, but he also chipped in with an important wicket, namely that of Rajapaksha, who was threatening to continue to go big. Mitchell Satner coming in and taking 2 wickets with his innocuous-looking but rather deceptive left-arm spin. And then Ish Sodhi also coming on with his sort of off-break / leg break variations and picking up 2 wickets. So what you can see right here is effectively a case of New Zealand's bowlers once again backing up the great work of their batsmen. And do I see Hanno Trollope in the room? Yes, he's here.
Yes,
Good evening,
yes,
Hanno. How are
yes.
you, son?
I'm good, Manny.
Yeah.
And yeah, I see you. Uh, you're busy with the New Zealand game.
Yeah, so basically, I think you also told me that Sri Lanka, in a way, bottled that game with some pretty poor fielding. But in addition, I think we also must give credit where credit is due. And basically, it was a case of Glenn Phillips stealing the show with his century and earning man of the match honours. But also, when you take a look at New Zealand's bowling attack, basically, it's the lightning bolt and Tim Southee leading the way. And then, of course, you've got Lockie Ferguson chipping in with an important wickets partnership breaker. And then you have Santner, who looks innocuous but has a happy knack of picking up wickets, as does Ish Sodhi. So it's basically those five bowlers who, do a good job in picking up all their wickets. And I think it's fair to say that given how several of their batsmen have been able to perform quite well, they look to be the most complete team in the tournament, and they are taking this tournament by storm and surprising a lot of people in the process. What do you say about that?
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely, they're taking it by storm. And yeah, um, they're looking really well. Sri Lanka dropped a few important catches and sloppy in the field. I think for them, um, someone just needs to go into their dressing room, or at a drinks break and say, "Catches win matches, boys," because they really had it all going for them. But yeah, Glenn Phillips, facing one of probably the most balls who will ever face in a T20.
Mm-hmm.
um, but yeah, no, really good um, by New Zealand, and yeah, they certainly look good going into the final few games, and they're favourites.
Yeah, absolutely. They look a complete team. Excellent batting, top quality fielding, bowlers who know how to do their jobs. I think Kane Williamson has the easiest job of all, but my biggest problem is that it is, of course, a marathon, not a sprint. And the only thing that I would expect is that they do not, trip up when it matters the most, because it can be expected that they will qualify from Group One. The big question is, will it be Australia or England, or would it be any other team that joins them? Because if we take a look at the Group 1 standings, there is all to play for. And although England do have a more than decent run rate, they still have it all to do in their final two games. So we could discuss a few of that later. But now that we've spoken about New Zealand against Sri Lanka, which was effectively another game where Sri Lanka flattered to deceive, and I don't think they will qualify for the next stage because clearly their batting is brittle, their bowlers try hard, but clearly their fielding is not up to scratch. What do you say to that?
Yeah, I would agree with that. Definitely, I agree with that statement you made there.
Mhm.
So,
Right. Okay, so the very first game that was played this Sunday morning was an absolute humdinger between two teams, between whom you will expect some really exciting matches. And this one was certainly no different. And it also had more than its share of controversy near the end. I am talking about Bangladesh playing Zimbabwe at the Brisbane Gabba earlier this morning. And of course, it would have been sort of early afternoon in Australia, but neither you nor I would have woke. I mean, I was probably awake, but you wouldn't have been awake by then. And I wonder who you were rooting for in this
wait,
game.
wait, just hold on. Uh, I see someone, Adam Krunishi, be up yourself. What I will do, he says, I'm a big cricket fan. Can I join the podcast? Yeah, I
Oh,
will send
oh,
you.
excellent. That's terrific. I mean, yeah, listen, so from now on as well, if there's anyone who wants to join the stream, you can just enter the chat. We will obviously give you the link. We even had a person joining in the chat midway through the innings when India were playing Pakistan. And, it was during the innings break and he had to leave, but he said a few words and then he walked away. But anyone
Yeah,
who wants to join in, you're more than welcome. Let's be having you, as we would say in England.
yeah. I have sent a link in the chat. Yeah, the link is in the chat. That's Adam Krunishi Beer.
Okay, so I'll just stop sharing this for a minute. And
Okay.
yeah, we'll wait for him to come into the
What's your
studio.
opinion on India losing today? We'll get into that, Adam.
And I see James is in the stream, normally a football fan, but he is in here. James,
Yeah,
good to
James.
see you, mate. How are you?
Yeah,
You doing good? Yeah. Do you like cricket? Do you watch it on TV?
Oh,
Okay. But listen, you're welcome to the chat, and we're happy to have you, and you can listen to what we're saying. But very sorry about Bournemouth losing. That was very sad, wasn't it?
yeah.
Okay.
Adam,
And
can
well,
you just click on that link? Adam,
yeah.
behave yourself, Adam.
So like I said, I will wait. We will wait
We,
for him, and
we
then
can just we can continue, and then when he joins, we will just.
no. But here's the thing. I mean, once he clicks the link, he should be able to join almost immediately, because obviously we will wish to
Yeah,
speak about the match in question. I don't want him to come in and not be a part of that conversation. And
yeah,
Adam, I
but
wonder.
yeah,
I'm assuming by his name that he might be supporting Pakistan. I don't know, but we will see.
yeah. But yeah, Zimbabwe, Bangladesh. Uh, I was rooting for Zimbabwe because if Bangladesh won and South Africa lost today, Bangladesh would have been above us. I think is here. Oh no, it's just your thing. She let me that noise. But yeah, um,
Yeah,
but yeah. Overall, good performance from from right, so
yeah,
from them. So yeah, good performance
yeah.
from
So the
Zimbabwe.
story.
Unlucky.
Yeah, so the story of this game is, of course, Bangladesh winning the toss and electing to bat first. Obviously, wanted to take advantage of this pitch, which provided some good potential for good batting. They got off to a pretty bad start in the second over when their the tall fast bowler, Blessing Muzarabani, who stands at about 6'8" and brings it down from a height, was able to um, prize out the opener Samia Sarkar, but the other opener, Najmul Hussain, was able to play quite brilliantly for his innings of 71 with 7 fours and a six. And he was pretty much doing his bit to anchor the innings and provide some stability, because apart from him, I think the captain chipped in with a useful 23, and Afif Hussain had uh, 29 runs. I believe the six he hit came off a free hit, if I'm not wrong. So in the end, that um, proved to be the difference in some ways. Lytton Das also reaching double figures with 14, but none of the other batsmen really able to contribute. Musaddiq Hussain in particular getting out for 7, Nurul Hassan being run out, and Hassan would play a pretty big role in proceedings later on, as we would see. So 2 wickets each for the Seamers, Garava and Muzarabani, and Sikandar Raza, of course, getting another wicket, proving his all-round usefulness. And even Sean Williams coming in and bowling 2 tidy overs for 10 runs and chipping in with the wicket of the Bangladesh captain, Shakib Ul Hassan. So Bangladesh ended up somehow reaching 150, and the target was 151 from 20 overs. And this tells the story of the Zimbabwe innings. Again, many failures, one amazing innings from Sean Williams, and only 2 others getting to double figures, including Ryan Burl, who tried to play a good supporting hand near the end with 27 off 25, and the wicketkeeper Chakabva contributing 15. Again, it was a case of wickets falling at regular intervals, and the huge controversy near the end was when the wicketkeeper Nurul Hassan had, after doing some good work to stump Richard and Garava, who had threatened to steal that match from them by smiting a 6 earlier on. He was stumped the next ball, which left the last man, Muzarabani, to come in. And on that last ball, what happened was that Nurul basically put his gloves out before the wicket and ended up collecting that ball with his hands in front of the wicket. So when everyone was walking off, sort of accepting that Bangladesh had won, the umpires looked at that and said, no, everyone has to come back. And a no ball was adjudicated, which meant that Muzarabani had a free hit. So he had 4 runs to get to win and 3 runs to tie. And sadly, he ended up missing that ball, the second ball he faced, which meant that Zimbabwe ended up coming just short. And the significance of this was, had Zimbabwe won, they would have been in a really good position in the group with 3 wins out of 5, because they had beaten I bel I don't know if they. No, not really with 3 wins out of 5, but I believe, of course, they had beaten Pakistan, and wait, let me see. Yeah, they had beaten Pakistan. I don't know if they played the Netherlands, but obviously that no result against South Africa helped them. So I think their remaining matches will be against India and the Netherlands. But after 3 games, of course, if they had 2 wins and a no result, it would have put them with a great chance of qualifying for the semi-finals. But now with a win, no result, and a loss, they're just in mid-table. So this definitely has to count as an opportunity missed. And of course, among the bowlers, Taskin Ahmed was clearly the star of the show with 3 for 19, 2 wickets apiece for Musaddiq Hussain and the Fizz, Mustafizur Rahman. And it was, in fact, Musaddiq Hussain who was tasked with that job of bowling that last over, and eventually he was able to, see things through. We take a look at Musaddiq Hussain. He is, in fact, um, an off-break bowler. So we had a situation where spinner was bowling the final over, and we will be talking a little bit about that. But I don't know if you followed that match closely, but clearly that match was noted in the end for its for the rather controversial nature of the ending. And I know you were rooting for Zimbabwe. You obviously maybe you were following it closely. I don't know if you were watching it on television, but how did you
No,
feel
no,
about the whole thing?
I didn't see it, so I can't really comment on on it because I didn't see
Hmm, right.
the game. But
Yeah.
of what you're saying, it seems like maybe Zimbabwe choked and threw it away. It seems like.
Certainly does look that way. And also, if you take a look at the innings, none of the other batsmen were able to even get starts and come in. And Sikandar Raza falling to the Fizz was a very big wicket there because he has, of course, been their in-form player, both with the ball and the bat. And is Adam in the chat or?
I don't know. I said a few times to him, I talked to him a few times in the chat. I
Hmm,
said to him, click the link and you can join. Doesn't seem
okay.
like he's in the chat, but yeah, I will
Okay.
definitely get him on. I see he definitely subscribed because we got a new subscriber. So when we do another cricket show, um, we'll
That's
get him
terrific.
on.
That's terrific. So, Adam, if you're watching this, I hope you can join us before we talk about the India South Africa game. And obviously, we're going to get your opinions on everything that's happened so far. But yeah, I mean, do please join us for more of our shows. We're doing our best to provide you some good coverage of the tournament. And again, it was basically Sean Williams who started with the bat and Burl chipping in as Chakabba. But it was a case of wickets falling at regular intervals and no batsman really able to, take the initiative and really help create a partnership. And you can't really have a situation where, with Sean Williams obviously falling with the score on 132, it was left to more or less the tail enders to try and it was left to Ryan Burl and the tail enders to try and see it through. And you can't really depend too much on the tail enders to finish that job, no matter how many runs are left. So they did choke under pressure. They weren't really able to get themselves over the line. And I think they're going to have to look at this as an opportunity missed. But Bangladesh, good value for their win, and they live to fight another day. And they're also doing quite well in the group standings, as we will later on see. Now, of course, the second game was between Pakistan and the Netherlands, and that was, more or less, I wouldn't say a dead encounter, but obviously Pakistan did what they had to do, and we will take a look at this match right now. Cricinfo is causing quite a few problems. Please forgive me. Yes, so, and these advertisements aren't helping either. So, a very powerful, purposeful bowling display, ripping the Netherlands apart for 91 runs. Only 2 batsmen reaching double figures, Colin Ackerman and the captain Scott Edwards, but there was a golden duck and basically scores of 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. And no, that's not a dance step sequence. And Yeah, so basically, no batsman really able to do quite well. They somehow stuttered to 91 for 9 and avoided the ignominy of being bowled out completely. But this wouldn't have done any favors for them or their run rate. Of course, they've lost all three matches so far, so we can't really expect too much from them. And as far as the bowling is concerned, Shadab Khan starring with 3 wickets from his 4 overs with his off spin, 2 wickets for Mohammad Wasim back in the team and bowling well, and then a wicket apiece for Shaheen Afridi, Naseem Shah, and Haris Rauf with the left arm spinner Mohammad Nawaz. A sort of villainous figure from Pakistan's 2 defeats, still in the team. A bit of a surprise, but didn't really have too much involvement here. And in the meantime, when it came to Pakistan's innings, again, it was Mohammad Rizwan top scoring with 49, just getting out short of a half century. Bit of a choker for him, but he wouldn't have minded it. But again, Babar Azam falling cheaply, and 2 other batsmen getting to double figures, but not able to stay the course. In fact, Shan Masood got out with the score on 91, and Mohammad Rizwan himself got out with the score on 83. So those 2 wickets late on would not have looked good for them by any means. And then, of course, it was left to Shadab Khan, who starred with the ball to basically calm nerves by scoring that boundary, which took them over the line. And, pretty the less said about the Dutch bowlers, the better, although 1 or 2 of them did look good. Van Meekeren, again, having an impressive tournament, 1 for 19. Uh, no wickets, but 9 runs off 2 overs for Logan Van Beek, who replaced Bastian de Leyde after he was smacked on the head by Bouncer and had to leave the field as a concussion precaution. So he was brought on as an approved substitute. And Klaassen, very expensive. A golden duck and 26 runs off 3 overs, not a day that he will want to remember. This was more or less, a match not even worth discussing because Pakistan obviously had to win and the Netherlands were more or less lambs to the slaughter. And again, Pakistan's batting proving to be extremely brittle. So much dependence on Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan at the top of the order. And the middle order, in this case, they chipped in but couldn't quite stay the course. And losing those 2 wickets at the end would certainly have looked very bad on them. I'd like you to tell me what you think of Pakistan, and do you think they have any chance or any hope of qualifying for the semi-finals?
Um, I don't think so because South Africa are doing so well. I just don't think they will, and I don't see a way that India are going to lose the few the matches eight. But then again, they might still have go through because they play us, of course, on Thursday, which is going to be a big test for South Africa. Again, a big one. But I think without Barbara Sam pulling the strings, things, I think it's really, really hard for them to do anything significant. And so, yeah, that's just my views.
Okay. So, yeah, Adam, if you're still in the chat, we would love to have you come and join in. I believe
Yeah,
Hanno sent you the link. We are going to actually talk about the third match, the fourth match, which is India losing today. That was the third match played today and the fourth over this weekend. And we would definitely love you to come on and give your views. But if you can't today, as long as you subscribe, we will be doing more cricket streams. And please do keep joining us and click the bell button as well to get notified of any
yeah,
future programs.
yeah,
Now, of course,
definitely.
so now, of course, we're going to talk about the crunch match for which we did that amazing stream. And I want to thank you for always getting me involved in that. It's always amazing. And this is it, India versus South Africa. So, first of all, before I go in depth into that, just tell me briefly, having seen that match, how glad are you that we did that 4 hour stream? Would you say that that was the best match of the tournament so far?
Uh, it's hard to say that because Also, I think another good match was, of course, in India versus Pakistan. But just because the Proteas are in this match, South Africa, you have to say because there were so many twists and turns and in this match, but you could argue they were more in the Pakistan match. But I'm super glad we did it because
Mm.
it was a great match. And just overall excellent from South Africa, bowling wise, and batting wise, we're still struggling a bit. And of course, one worry is again us losing wickets so easily. Um, when at the start in against Bangladesh, we lost wickets at the end, and today we lost a few wickets starting. So it's been an abs, but it was a good match. And yeah, South Africa, I didn't expect this performance, but Aidan Markram and David Miller just put us put us ahead, and I can't thank them enough. And there's definitely some concerns regarding the South African batting lineup with it being so um, not going so deep our batting lineup and up. So yeah, it's it's a real worry. But what I would do personally, but then again, I don't know who to take out because the bowlers maybe take out Maraj as a spinner. Maybe take him out and put Clarkson in because I wouldn't take out Wayne Parnell. He did he did good for us. This match picked up what 3 wickets, and so was very economical. And he just in that the overseas bowl definitely helped helped us do amazing
Yeah.
things.
Great, great, great. Yeah, so I'm going to also obviously give my analysis of that. We all know that India won the toss and opted to bat first at the Perth Stadium, which, true to its predecessor, the WACA ground, which of course is now no longer functioning, was able to provide a rather pacey, bouncy sort of pitch. But it was a difficult start because when Wayne Parnell bowled his maiden, we sort of started to have the idea that it wouldn't be as easy for India as they had hoped it would be. And obviously, the conditions early on in the evening, it was going to be a night game, obviously, and early on in the evening, the conditions there were actually it was probably at about maybe 8 or 9 local time. I'm not too sure. Maybe 9 o'clock, I think. And the conditions there being slightly overcast suited the South African bowlers quite well. They weren't quite able to get any wickets in the early overs, but once they started to bowl well, wickets started to fall in a little bit of a clump, really. And of course, with Parnell and Rabada opening the bowling, they were dealing a lot in dot balls, and they did concede a couple of sixes in between, but for the most part, they were able to tie the batsmen down. And of course, when Ngidi came on as first change, Lungi Ngidi, that was when the tide started turning because obviously he was able to get Rohit Sharma to you know offer a return catch, which he took with glee. It was sort of played up into the end. Ngidi was able to run all the way to mid wicket to get that, and then 4 balls later, he accounted for Rahul Lokesh, who ended up edging that to the slip fielder Aidan Markram. And so after 5 overs, they had lost 2 wickets. The third wicket fell in at the end of the near the end of the 7th over, and then 4 balls later, Deepak Huda ended up going, and then 1 or 2 overs later, Hardik Pandya was gone. So, but at the end of 9 overs, India had half of their batting order back in the pavilion. Then it was, of course, as in the Zimbabwe innings, it was the case of one person top scoring with a score of 60 odd and basically anchoring that entire innings without very much in terms of support from the other batsmen. Not even Dinesh Karthik or Ashwin Ravichandran could offer him any kind of support. Karthik, in particular, will look back at his dismissal as something he will regret. And of course, he later went off with back trouble to be replaced by the backup wicketkeeper Rishabh Pant. So
And
68 for
on
Yadav.
Richard Pant, on that, it's, I think they would do better with Rashid Pant there instead of Dinesh Karthik, personally, because I reckon with Rashid Pant we all know he's very he can he has a chip in him. He's very charismatic. So I think, and he's a good batter. I think that will help them
Mm.
going forward.
I get that. I get that. But there isn't too much difference in terms of wicket keeping between Karthik and Pant. And Karthik is normally selected in these games for his role as a lower order finisher. So for him to come into the side, come onto the field in the 10th over was not something he had looked forward to. And obviously, with um, Bavuma rotating his bowlers very well, the batsmen weren't able to get that much in terms of rest. He, of course, wanted to try and bring on the spinners. And in terms of the spinners, obviously, Maharaj and Markram had their say. Maharaj was sort of taken for more than a few, so Markram was given an over where he only conceded 5. Basically, it was the seamers who did the damage, the fast bowlers. Ngidi, obviously, coming in with 4 for 29. And then, of course, Parnell was wicketless in his opening spell, but then came back later on and was able to prize out the important wicket of Yadav. A wonderful slower ball, back of the hand slower ball, which deceived Yadav with the change of pace, and he ended up offering a catch to mid wicket, which was gleefully snapped up by Keshav Maharaj himself. And so when Yadav went, it was really just a matter of time before the innings would end, although, like the Netherlands, India avoided the ignominy of being bowled out. So they finished on 133, leaving South Africa with a run rate of 6.67 to reach their target. And it was basically a good day for the seamers. Ngidi in particular finishing with 4. Unlucky not to get a fiver, but certainly he played his part. Special mention for me has to go to Wayne Parnell, who was very economical in his spell and really tied the batsman down. And certainly after so often being in and out of the side, not being able to sort of nail down a place, I think with this performance, he's outlined how important he is. At the age of 33, I don't think he has too many years left in him, but as long as he can perform well, he can get some good performances. It'll benefit South Africa for sure. And certainly in this tournament, it looks as though he will have a role to play. Left arm seamers will always be important. And
Yeah.
I will speak of Arshdeep Singh in a minute because that's a nice segue. But what did you think of the South African bowling, and what do you think of the way Bavuma was able to rotate his bowlers? Personally, he could have improved with his field placings, but it was good stuff from the South African captain.
Yeah, definitely. One thing I'm not happy with or can maybe be seen as a worry is we decided to bowl Maraj and then Markram straight after him. And I think although Markram did good, I think if let's say Markram didn't bowl so good, again it's ifs and buts. But I just think he maybe against let's say a Pakistan and I think he may get hit for more, and you never know if it would be more runs we concede. And, so yeah, but I quickly need to just drop out for a few minutes. Then I will be back for the predictions. So just my thoughts on the bowling. How we bowled, great bowling, exceptional by Wayne Parnell, and Lungi Ngidi and Anrich Nokia. some of his balls went to 150 kilometers per hour, uh, which
Yeah,
is
and then of course,
exceptional.
briefly on the batting, of course, it
Yeah,
was basically Markram and Miller who stole the show. Thanks to Eminem, the real Slim Shady did stand up and made himself counted. Because of
yeah,
course, Arshdeep Singh was able to bowl quite well in his first over, and in three balls took out both the dangerous Quinton de Kock and Riley Russo, who were expected to fire, leaving the outer form Bavuma almost on his own. But the steady hand that Markram and Miller played, uh, certainly Markram at first and then Miller coming in later, was of real importance. And you can see how that really steadied everything and took South Africa to their destination. And obviously,
yeah.
India's bowlers ended up choking. So, very briefly, about just to give me your opinion on South Africa's batting, and then you can leave.
Yeah, batting wise, we did exceptional. Besides, of course, Quinton de Kock. Besides the top three, the rest were good. Justin Tubbs, he held his own, of course, young player. We'll see if he maybe gets dropped and Anrich Klaasen gets put into the team. We'll see. But yeah, Miller and Aiden Markram, well done, exceptional.
Hmm.
And then, of course, what's it? When Panau finishing it off for us. Yeah, exceptional batting. So I'll be very quick. I'll be just
Okay,
in and
but
out.
we have someone joining in now, do we?
James,
Oh yeah,
James,
James looks as though he's back. So, James,
yeah.
good to see you back, my friend. How have you been? Yeah. So
Alright,
hold on.
hold on. Yeah,
Okay.
wait.
Yeah,
You guys finish it or you go?
I'll handle that. You can go,
Okay.
James. Okay, so obviously, good to see you again, and yeah, evening to you. And preview show Chelsea versus Bournemouth, Sunday, 25th of December. So that's going to be on Christmas Day. I'll certainly
Mhm.
look forward to that. And yeah, I'll give you my Twitter account right now. So you've got that in the
Yeah.
private chat. You can just take a look at that. So yeah, as I said, the Bournemouth loss was very disappointing. I hope you can bounce back next week. And I think the injuries to Neto won't help. But it's good to see Dominic Solanke back playing.
Yeah.
And Mark Travers as well had a decent game. And hopefully you'll continue that momentum. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Have you had your grub? Have you had your dinner?
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So, yeah, thanks for joining in. And so I'll talk a little bit about the South Africa India game, obviously, and yeah, so it's quite clear to see that the batting itself was dominated by the middle order heroics of Markram and Miller. Markram obviously playing a much steadier hand, and then slowly getting into the bowling, and then Miller himself, coming on strong near the end with three sixes and four boundaries, and it was he who helped finish off the whole thing in the company of Wayne Parnell. So basically, it was solid, dependable middle order test match batting in a way from Markram, and then laying the foundation for Miller to come in and hit. That is sort of the way you. Um, that's sort of the way you build your innings when you're batting second and take advantage of the bowling. And Bhuvaneshwar Kumar obviously quite economical. Ashdeep Singh started off with 2 overs in the beginning and was brought on in the middle, but by the time he came on, Markram and Miller were very much set and still going strong and were eager to attack him with some good shots to the offside. And Markram in particular basically slapping him over cover for more than a few balls. And then Mohammad Shami came in. It was very economical, not exactly you know, uh, incisive, but certainly economical. And he, in fact, took the wicket of Bavuma, who was trying to hoik it over leg, but only succeeded in edging it through to the wicketkeeper, Dinesh Karthik, who himself sadly had to leave due to back trouble and was replaced by Rishabh Pant for the latter part of the innings. But there's basically It was a case of the bowlers not quite able to find a breakthrough, and Ashwin Ravichandran in particular will be looked back on as the one bowler who probably cost India any chance of winning. He wasn't quite able to get the breakthrough he wanted, and by the time he was able to get Tristan Stubbs out LBW, it was a case of too little, too late, and South Africa by that time were almost home and dry. And I believe Rohit ended up speaking about giving Ashwin that pivotal 18th over, which sort of took in South Africa near their promised land. And he said he wanted to make sure that Ashwin would finish instead of giving him the 20th over. But again, in his third over, he had been taken for 17 runs, 2 sixes, and several singles in between. So it was not really the best idea to have him continue to bowl. And today he certainly lacked that fizz in his bowling. He was trying to use the straight ball a little bit too much, in my opinion, and he ended up costing his team in a very big way. So while Sharma rotated his bowlers brilliantly against Pakistan, today he was found to be a little wanting. Obviously, his faith in Ashwin proved to be a little bit misplaced. And by the time he brought back Arshdeep and Shami to the attack, the middle order was more or less, the middle order had become more or less stabilized in a way. So, anyone in? No, I'm afraid not.
Yes, Money.
Okay, you're back. So I'm just giving my
Yeah.
thoughts on the Indian bowling. Obviously, Ashwin being expensive
but
didn't really help at all.
yeah, I'll just give my predictions in the chat. Can you see the chat or not?
Yeah, just hold on a minute, please. Okay, so you're in the private chat, are you?
No, in the normal chat, YouTube chat. I'll
Yeah,
give my
so
predictions.
I'm taking a look. So do you have to leave now?
Yeah, I have to go.
Okay, so you can offer your predictions, and I will read them out as we go along. So these predictions, will they be for next week's games or just tomorrow's and Tuesday's, maybe?
No, for this round's games. And so that's tomorrow's, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and I think Thursdays games. Yeah.
Okay. So you can offer
Okay,
your predictions in the chat, and I will look them up, and we will take a look at
Yeah.
them. So obviously, this particular game being the cracker as it was, it all rested on those fine margins of, when to, which bowlers to trust, which bowlers not to trust, and also how to pace your innings as a middle order batsman. And South Africa were able to do that very well, and they ended up becoming deserved winners. The batsmen, for me, were the ones who made the difference, but Ngidi ended up becoming player of the match for his 4 wickets. Special mention, of course, as I said, for Wayne Parnell. And although Keshav Maharaj was hit a little bit, he did look a little bit tidy for the most part. I think where he failed was probably in not maintaining the right line, and he wasn't really able to make the batsmen earn their runs. So pretty much how it went, I'm afraid. And now, of course, we will be going into the next games. That is the next round, as Hanno mentioned. Obviously, he had to leave, but we will talk about the next round of games. And certainly tomorrow we do have one game coming up, which is, tomorrow's game will be Australia against Ireland. That's going to be played at the Brisbane Gabba on the 31st of October. That will be taking place at 1:30 p.m. India time, which will be 8 a.m. in the UK, 10 a.m. South Africa, and that should be 6 p.m. Brisbane time. And so this match, of course, is yet to begin. This is definitely a must-win match for Australia, who need to have a comfortable win in order to boost their net run rate. And the reason why I talk about run rate is because we can now look at the tables. A nice segue into that. Basically, at the end of this round of games, Group 1 sees New Zealand sitting pretty at the top, and I will just share the tables right now. Yep. So Group 1 sees New Zealand sitting pretty at the top with 2 wins and a no result, with 5 points and a very healthy net run rate of 3.85. In second place is England, who, despite the shock of their loss to Ireland and a record of 1 win, 1 loss in the result, find themselves in second, 3 points and a run rate of 0.239. So this talks about how important net run rate will be. And obviously Ireland are in the mix too. A narrow victory over England, but of course a loss to Sri Lanka has put them in a little bit of trouble at negative 1.169. Australia also have an identical record, but they have a much worse net run rate. So this clash between two middle or teams in the middle of the table will be quite crucial. Australia will fancy their chances of winning, but they will need to take this seriously because, as we've seen, Ireland will pull off a few shocks, and Ireland only have the players from of Harry Tector, Andy Balbirnie, George Dockrell, Paul Sterling, of course, and more than a few others who can certainly play quite well and pull off some shocks. And Australia's team selection will be key. Once again, Steve Smith has not been picked for any of their 3 games. It remains to be seen whether he'll get an appearance in this game. Australia might look to want to strengthen their batting, and we will see how that pans out. I certainly can't look beyond a big Australia win, because I just think that they will certainly have too much for the Irish team. And it should be a fairly comfortable win for the Aussies by 5 wickets or 30 runs. And we will come to Group 2 in a minute, but we'll just go back to the... These advertisements do not do anyone any favors. And once again, having to navigate this site is really a pain in the backside, but what can you do? What can you do? T20 World Cup, as I've said. And of course, Tuesday's games, upcoming games, will be interesting as well. The first game on Tuesday, 1 of 2, will be Afghanistan against Sri Lanka. That should be a fairly straightforward game for Sri Lanka in theory, but Afghanistan can certainly pull off a shock or 2. They can certainly make it a tough. Should be quite comfortable. I mean, not feel comfortable, but comfortable enough in the end for Sri Lanka. I would say either by 4 wickets or by 20 runs. And the third game from Group 1 will see England against New Zealand. That will be a crunch game on Tuesday, and that will be taking place at 1:30 p.m. India time, which means that it will be 8 a.m. in England. So I'm sure a lot of England fans might want to get up early to watch that game if possible. And of course, being in Brisbane, that will be taking place at, I would say, 6 p.m. local time. And it's hard to look beyond the New Zealand win here, which will certainly damage England's chances of reaching the semi-finals, because England's batting has proved to be quite brittle and hasn't really, stood up to be counted. Certainly, Moeen Ali threatened to, snatch the game against Ireland, but rain put paid to his hopes. Liam Livingstone has looked good with the bat, but the big... yes, James?
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you want to say?
Bye.
Oh, you're leaving?
Yeah.
Okay, bye. Thanks a lot for coming. Thanks for coming. I'll see you soon. And I see Ollie's in the chat. Ollie, I'm not too sure if you're a big fan of cricket, but if you want to join in the chat, I can send you the link, yeah? Hannah's not here right now, but listen, what I'm going to do is I will put the link in the public chat, okay? This will be in the YouTube chat now. So anyone who wants to join in, please, by all means, click the link and just come into the studio. And if I see you in the studio, I will welcome you in. So, yeah. So I sadly cannot look beyond New Zealand win, which will certainly damage England's chances, because New Zealand just look to be a complete team at the moment. They've got firing on all cylinders, be it bowling, batting, or fielding, and England simply can't rise to the occasion. So it could very well end up proving to be, I'd say a somewhat comfortable win for New Zealand and help England one bit. So it should be a 30-run or a 5-wicket win for New Zealand, which won't help England at all, unless the likes of Jos Buttler, Dawid Malan, and Moeen Ali and a few others get stuck in. It will be difficult to see them doing much damage. Bowling-wise, they do look good with Sam Curran and company. I mean, Sam Curran is obviously leading the way with his 5-wicket haul and 10 wickets so far. And bowling-wise, they do look very good, but it will be hard to see how they can possibly, make deep inroads into New Zealand batting with Conway, Allen, and Phillips having done quite well, and even Williamson coming and chipping in, and with several others obviously aching to make a contribution. So, with a win for New Zealand, this will damage England's chances. And so that is sort of the way it might work. Wednesday's game, we'll see. There are 2 games, of course, and we will go, which will see one game from. Yeah, both these games are going to be from Group 2, and we will take a look at the table in a minute. Netherlands against Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe will be very eager to get back to winning ways, and there will be a Netherlands team which can spring some shots. For now, they just don't look as though they're a very cohesive unit and can't seem to, win the big moments. So Zimbabwe should win this one fairly comfortably. I'm also going for either a 30-run or a 5-wicket win. And then Bangladesh and India, that's a really important game because both of the teams are they're both doing fairly well and they have identical records. So this match could potentially decide which of these two could qualify for the semi-finals alongside South Africa. But then Pakistan could still also technically be in the mix. We will see how well they form. In fact, looking at the table right now, I hate these advertisements, man. I really do. Yeah. So do we have anyone in the studio? No, we don't, I'm afraid. But as it stands in 2, South Africa is sitting pretty after this fine win over India. They have 5 points from their 3 games. The no result against Zimbabwe sort of, being a little bit of an eyesore. But with a net run rate of 2.77, they are sitting pretty. India also sitting pretty at in second place with a run rate of 0.84. And Bangladesh just behind them, but with a much inferior net run rate, albeit with an identical record. So this match against England, India, and Bangladesh could prove to be key. It will certainly decide Bangladesh's fate in the tournament, as it will for India's. India will need to win this game to make sure they seal their position. And certainly Zimbabwe can look forward to getting another win against the Netherlands. And Pakistan, as you see here, despite their win over the Netherlands, they look in deep trouble given their record, despite their positive net run rate. So Pakistan will be looking at other teams to try and slip up. They will obviously be looking for the Netherlands to try to create a shock. And a win for either India or Bangladesh could very well see Pakistan drop out, unless, of course, they can win their last 2 games against Netherlands and South Africa. And of course, once again, these stupid advertisements. It'll be hard to predict a result between Bangladesh and India, but it should be a comfortable Indian win. I will go for 20 runs or 4 wickets, and that's just me being conservative. And action from Group 2 will be rounded out on Thursday with a crunch game between Pakistan and South Africa. This should, in theory, be the game which seals Pakistan's fate in the tournament. And we do have someone in the studio, do we? Ollie! Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. So, first question. I know that you probably, I'm not too. Obviously, I know how big a fan you are of football. But Do you enjoy cricket as well, or?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I support my local team, Somerset, and I keep up to date with the England scores. Yeah,
Oh,
I
Somerset.
saw you
Somerset.
were. Yeah, Somerset. Yeah, I mean, I went to a game not long ago, the Kent game, and they lost, but they did. They made the finals of the T20 and lost, and then I think they didn't do too well in the cup games, but I think they're having a break now, and then they'll be back next season. But my dad
Right.
has a lifetime membership there, so he does that, and then I go occasionally. But I haven't really seen England play live. I do watch it on the telly
Right.
when the football is really good.
So obviously, as a Somerset fan, you might be a very big fan of Joss Butler, the captain. Obviously,
Yeah,
his
and
Test
Will
career.
Sleed as well.
Oh yes,
And
Mead,
I
definitely.
actually one of the games after I got a load of the players to sign it, and I got like Tom Abel and all the players. But I saw you in stream. Were you wearing an India cricket top in one stream or not?
No, I wasn't, mate. I wasn't. I mean,
Oh,
I don't
it
have an
looked like
Indian
you were.
cricket
You were
top.
wearing like a white. You were wearing like a white top. I don't know what it was. Remember you
No,
doing
it's
that
just a
Indian
normal
watch along?
T-shirt.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Normal t-shirt. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're actually planning on doing a couple more watch-alongs this week. I think on Tuesday and Thursday. That's when I should be free and I should be able to cover those.
Yeah.
These games are, of course, expected to last for about 4 hours, which is decent television. So I can
Mhm.
sort of, depending on
How
my
do you watch the
schedule and
games,
my
Manny, on
work.
the? How do you watch
Oh,
the
it's easy.
T20
I've
World
got.
Cup?
Yeah, obviously over here in India we get Star
Oh,
Sports.
3-1 Arsenal
So that
woman.
yeah.
3-1 Arsenal woman. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's not yeah.
Wait, so
So
have you
obviously
just got a TV
on the Star.
program?
Yeah, like I have a
Yeah.
television next to me, and I sort of watch it, and also just
Ah.
describe everything that's taking place. And yeah, it's on the Star Sports network over here. I believe back in England it will be shown on Sky Sports because BT Sports doesn't do cricket, to my knowledge.
No, it doesn't.
I remember the days when international cricket, Test and one-day cricket used to be shown on the BBC, and those were better days. But then, obviously, for the 2000, I want to say 2005 Ashes, it switched to Channel 4, and then Sky came in and pretty much monopolized everything.
Yeah, sorry to go off topic. Just two things, Manny. Obviously Arsenal winning today. You happy with that?
Yep, of course.
Yeah.
5-0 as expected. Top against bottom. There should only have been
Yeah.
one winner. Turned it on in the second half. Had a few
Oh,
no,
Nelson
had a
played well,
few.
didn't he?
Yeah, he did, and obviously, it was
Yeah.
satisfying to see him score. Came on as a substitute and really proved his worth. It's just one game. I'd like to see him do more and given more chances.
Yeah, I would
but
like with Saka injured. I'd like him to start next game, maybe.
yes, he should. He should definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. And the big game will be coming up on Thursday. We need to win that.
Yeah, we need to win that,
two,
and hopefully
yeah.
PSV to lose. But another thing is, I've got a stream tomorrow 7 p.m. Will you be available for that?
7 p.m.
UK time.
Yeah,
Or is
7 p.m.
Is that too late
No,
for you? Or
no, 7 p.m. UK time should be fine, but I will
Right,
have
okay.
to. I will have to leave after
all right.
45 minutes.
This
because-
time, Manny, though, if you can't join, can you just message me? Because last time I thought you were joining and then you
Yeah,
didn't reply to my message.
Yeah, look, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry
Yeah,
about that. But
that's
the
right.
problem is, I just had a headache and felt tired, and I
Oh,
couldn't
right.
jump on. But
Were you
listen,
not on
look,
your phone then? Were you not looking at your phone? when you
I
had a
wasn't. But listen, I will join you. No
Yeah.
excuses, no ifs, no buts,
Okay.
no walnuts. So
Yeah, it's just I'll send you the link tomorrow and obviously more information.
yeah,
But hopefully
that's
it's
fine.
going to
That's
be
fine.
me, you, hopefully a rest, Joel.
That's
Not
fine.
sure about
That's fine.
Elliot.
That's
Yeah.
fine. That's fine.
Yeah,
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Well, I'll see to that. I'll
But are
see
you
to
happy that
that.
we're
I'll
top
see
of the
to that.
league again for another week?
Yeah. I mean, that's
Yeah.
fine. That's fine. That's fine. I'm perfectly okay with that. But yeah, like let's just get back
Yeah.
to tour cricket, okay?
Yeah. Wait, let me just have a look what happened today in the cricket. So wait, World Cup taking place? Is it Australia?
Yeah.
The World Cup. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, it is taking place in Australia right now, and obviously we have these lined up. This match again between Pakistan and Sri Lanka will be the match which sees Pakistan have their exit confirmed from the tournament, because even if they win, they will still need other results to go their way. And on Friday, there are two games: New Zealand against Ireland. That game should be an easy win for for New Zealand, and Australia against Afghanistan. That should also be an easy win for the Australians, and that should help them with regard to their run rate. So they do look favourites to potentially finish second in the group and qualify, with New Zealand possibly facing an early elimination. So I don't know if you've been watching any of the matches, though. I mean, I don't know if you've been
I
following
do
it
have a
closely.
question for you, Manny. I haven't really been watching the matches, but I heard the England game got abandoned. Do you know why it got abandoned? The
No,
England
there was
Australia game.
actually, yeah, because there was heavy rain earlier on the day. The outfield was
All right.
completely wet. An earlier game that day between, I believe, Afghanistan and Ireland was also abandoned without a ball being bowled. So I remember being hopeful that there could be at least a little bit of cricket played, because there was a possibility that if conditions had improved and the outfield had dried quickly enough, that we could have had something like a 10-over game or a 15-over game or even a 5-over game. But sadly, there were still some inspections and the outfield was deemed far too wet and far too slippery. So not long after I ended the stream, the umpires officially decided to abandon it. The game.
Yeah, I
So
just got another thing as well. Obviously England's next game is Tuesday against New Zealand. Didn't we beat New Zealand in the World Cup not long ago? Because I remember the commentary. I was in Wales and we won the World Cup. Was that true, or
that was the one-day World Cup. We beat them in the
the one day
final,
World
but
Cup? Yeah,
but that was in 2019. But this is a completely
right.
different kettle of fish. In fact, if memory
How
serves
often
me,
is this World Cup then? Is it for every 4
it's
years?
no, this World Cup 2020 is practically every year, and I believe
Right.
last year we lost out in the semi-finals, if I'm not wrong, while Australia and New Zealand
Right.
played in the final. So this game is obviously going to be a bit of a crunch game, and I will in fact confirm the tables. Just take a look at the tables and
Yeah, because
show
we're in the
you
same
the
group as
difficulty of
Ireland, aren't
England's
we?
task right now.
We're in the same group as
Yes, it's
Ireland.
New Zealand, England, Ireland, and Australia, and obviously that loss to Ireland did not help us one bit. Neither
No.
did the washout against Australia. So as things
New
stand,
Zealand are doing
Australia
well
have to
though.
play Ireland. Yeah. Let me just speak, okay? So Australia have
All
to
right.
play
Yeah. Sorry.
Ireland and Afghanistan. These are the
Yep.
associate member teams in a way. And Australia is expected to win both of those games, so that will improve their net run rate. England have it all to do, though, because they still have to play New Zealand, and they also have to play Sri Lanka. So if they lose to New Zealand, England could very well end up going home, because it will be very tough for them to try and qualify. They will have to depend on an absolute freak result for Australia to, give them a chance of getting through. And even Ireland are also in. So these three teams here in the middle have it all to do. And even Sri Lanka are not technically out of it yet, but they will need to improve their game by leaps and bounds. And that's not really going to be easy. So this is the tough part. And obviously, some of the games being played in places like Melbourne and Sydney and elsewhere. You know that the country is currently going through some sort of a rainy spell right now in some areas. So certainly, with the rain being torrential, it has meant that some games have had to be washed out, and that has certainly not helped matters in any way. And even in the second group, there have been a few, one or two no results, which haven't really helped matters either. So you can't really predict what will happen with the weather, but in terms of certainly how it's affected a few games and a few results, it hasn't really been a good tournament for some of the more fancied teams. So England are in a bit
I've
of a
just
spot of
got
bother.
sorry to butt in, but with the competition, how does it sort of work? Because there's the group stages. Does it go to quarterfinals, semi-finals, and final? Like what happens
There
with
are
the groups?
there are two groups of 6 teams each, and the top 2 teams in each group will go to the semi-finals, and then they will play a final.
Right. Okay. Who do you fancy to win then the World Cup, Manny?
Well, certainly England look out of it unless they can pull
Really?
the chestnuts out of the fire, because they're coming up against New Zealand, and that's going to be England have to win and then hope for other results to possibly go their way. They have the slight advantage of a good net. Winning against New Zealand is not something that can be taken very easily. And then, of course,
who do we have
Ireland,
after New Zealand?
I believe we will be playing Sri Lanka near the end. So, yeah.
Oh, wait, are you not supporting India?
Nope. Born in England, always cheer
Oh.
for England over India.
Ah, yeah.
But
yeah,
of
of course. So is that the same
India
in
are my
football as
second
well?
team. So if India, yep. All sports, all sports.
Yeah. So do we play each team twice? That means we have 12 games.
No, what happens is that if you're in a group of 6, you play each team once, so each team plays 5
Oh,
games.
so yeah, we've
And
won
the
one,
team,
lost
2
one, and then we
teams with the
got Ireland.
are no results. So we need to basically
Right.
win both our games to give ourselves a chance. And
Yeah.
if we lose against New Zealand, that damages our chances badly because Australia have to play both Ireland and Afghanistan, and I can't really see beyond an Australian win in both games. They're going to take it seriously and make sure that they don't give Ireland a sniff or Afghanistan. And when England played against Afghanistan, they bowled well enough, but their batting certainly didn't shine. It looked very brittle. So if we end up not qualifying for the semi-finals, we'll really only have ourselves to blame. It has to be said.
Yeah.
And even in Group 2, India started well, but losing today against South Africa has hurt them. And they still need to make sure they beat Bangladesh and win their other game against Zimbabwe to make sure go through. So what looked like a comfortable progress in the finals has been given a bit of a jolt. And that's the beauty of this tournament because, you know, you can get some shock results which will upset the apple cart of more than a few teams and certainly provide a lot more in terms of intrigue. But that's sort of the way it's been, and that's sort of the way this tournament has been so far. And yeah, so if you're still there, Ollie, obviously, I see Joel's in the chat as well. Joel, the link's in the chat if you want to sort of come in. But I mean, the thing is, in another 10 minutes or so, 5 minutes or so, I will end the stream. So, Ollie, I think you can obviously the games are being shown on Sky Sports back in the UK. I wonder if you'll be keeping your eye on watching any games at least this weekend. Actually, it looks as though he's gone. Yeah, so I mean, obviously, I might have to wait 5 minutes for him. I've just seen that he's had to go somewhere, but I think he will be back. Yeah, I'm still curious. He's still technically in the chat for now, but yeah, I mean, obviously, I can't keep waiting too long. And I was looking for Hanno's predictions, couldn't quite get it. So yeah, it looks as though you're back. Yeah, I sort of heard the door closing, and I knew that you were coming back. So, thanks for coming back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
so with the, I just want to talk about. Go on.
Yeah. So, like, I will be ending the stream now in the next 2 minutes, and obviously, I wanted to keep the stream basically about cricket.
I just want. Who do you think's the favourites to win then?
Well, as I said, I mean, I can't really look beyond New Zealand at the moment because they're certainly playing really well. Right. The other teams have.
I do favour England, though.
Yeah, the problem is with that. I mean, their next 2 matches are going to be very difficult because, you know, quite obviously they've had a poor start with the loss to Ireland, which has sort of jolted them in a way. If they had beaten Ireland, they'd be in a better position. And the washout against Australia did not help either team. So England are now in a situation where they have to win against New Zealand, and that will not be an easy task because this tournament, although they came in as the second-ranked team in the world and certainly benefiting from a series win over Australia in Australia before this tournament, they simply haven't been firing on all cylinders, and they've actually looked very ordinary in many respects. So it'll be hard to say. I think New Zealand certainly looked like the team, the favoured team. My only issue is that as well as they've been playing so far, there's always a chance that they could come up short in the semi-finals because, you know, as we say in the Premiership, it's a marathon, not a sprint, and tournaments are no different. You can do well in the league stages, but once you get to the knockout stage, it's winner takes all. And if you lose that game, you know, you're out. So for me, it's very hard to pick a favorite. I just think New Zealand at the moment look like the most complete team. But, you know, if South Africa and India...
South Africa? Yeah.
South Africa, if South Africa and India qualify, they will certainly give New Zealand or Australia a run for their money. And... but South Africa, of course, have a rather unfortunate record of not being able to win too many ICC tournaments. In fact, they've often lost in the knockout stages, which has given them their reputation of chokers. And India, of course, will be a much fancied team, and certainly prior to
Yeah.
today, they looked good in all disciplines. But
Well, they
obviously,
lost in the
when it came to the tactical battle today, they sort of lost it. And when they came up against a really good quality bowling attack, they weren't quite able to fire on all cylinders. So how they'll perform against the New Zealand team, I'm not too confident about them either. So New Zealand look to be the most accomplished, complete team, and for me, they're favourites now. And I think, given the run-in that Australia will have, if they're able to secure big wins over the two teams they have left, Ireland and Afghanistan, that should increase or improve their net run rate, and they should end up giving them a better chance. And as for England, well, they're just going to have to look back on this and say, you know, we just weren't good enough on the day. But if they beat New Zealand, that could be interesting, and it can certainly put the cat amongst the pigeons. But I'm not looking beyond New Zealand. And now that sort of segues into what I want to ask you. Obviously, the games are being being shown on Sky Sports back in the UK. Will you be watching any of the games this weekend, perhaps?
Well, Hannah's kind of brought up the attention of the World because all the live streams, I didn't really know it was going on. So I'm not sure if it's on Sky Sports Cricket, I could watch it, but it depends because on the Tuesday, the England game, I'll probably be in college or I'll probably be doing
Yes.
something. So college and stuff, I have been off for 2 weeks now, but college is probably going to clash now. So if England were to make it through to the semis, then I would watch it. But say England finished third, I probably won't watch it because England's my team, unless someone like Ireland or someone does. But I think England will definitely finish second or first, probably second, and see how far we can go. Maybe semis, maybe final. I mean, I would watch it if it was. I would watch it if it was a final. But if we got knocked out of the group or we locked out of the semis, then yeah, that's it for me. The same with the World Cup. If England got through, I'll be supporting them. But say they get knocked out and Wales are still in it, I'd support Wales. So it's a case that I'm supporting England. But if England don't do well, I'll probably lean towards away to it. So, what is the time? UK time is the other game.
I
So,
believe that now that in the UK you put your clocks back, so I
Oh,
believe
8 a.m. Yeah.
yeah. So obviously, if it's during the week, if it's on a weekday, there's no chance of you watching that because, as you've said, you will be in class. That's why I asked you specifically on the weekend if you could watch them. So yeah.
Sorry,
So if it's on
something wrong on my internet there, I think.
yeah, so just briefly, I mean, if it's on the weekend, maybe a Saturday or Sunday, maybe you can try and switch it on and maybe catch a glimpse. But again,
But
it will
Manny, what
hinge.
Sky Sports is it on though? Are they all at 8 a.m.? Why are they all at 8 a.m.?
No, because here's the thing: Australia's on the other side of the world. You know that. So
Oh, I can't
they're
watch this. I can't watch the Saturday though because I've got a gig on the Saturday in Cardiff, so I can't watch that.
okay. So I will take a look and see what channel it'll be on because I know it's being broadcast on Sky Sports. I'm not too sure which channel it is, and I didn't even
I
know
think
that
it's
you
Sky
had.
Sports Cricket.
Well, it will have
Yeah,
to be
because
Sky.
basically we have we have BT Sport 1, 2, 3, etc. and Ultimate, and then in Sky Sports we have Sky Sports Main Sports, Sky Sports Premier League, Sky Sports F1, Sky Sports Cricket, Sky Sports 100, Sky Sports Football. Like literally for most sports they have the Sky Sports, so they'll probably be broadcasting on Sky Sports Cricket. The same with F1, they'll have all the Grand Prix races, football, obviously all the big games like Arsenal and Man United, and then they'll have like what other ones do they have? I think they maybe have like tennis or whatever. So they have like I think Sky's better than BT because BT in a way, you can get the early kickoff, Champions League, Europa League, FA Cup and stuff like that. But with the Sky Sports, they have a variety of sports that you can watch. I don't know what
Okay.
Hanno said in there. He said Manny in the YouTube chat and he just put Manny. Does that mean he wants like talk to you or something?
Hanno hasn't said anything. He's long since gone. It's Joel
Oh.
who's sort of come in. So
Oh,
Joel's
Joel
come in.
said hello, Manny, and then you
Yeah,
said
yeah,
Manny.
yeah. It's sort
Yeah.
of yeah. I did
Right.
say hello to him before you came on, and I did put the link in the chat for him to click and join. But
Did you see my comment before I came on?
yeah, you asked if you could
Yeah.
join, and after that, I put the link
Yeah.
in. So yeah, it'll probably be shown on Sky Sports Cricket, and
Yeah.
if on Saturday you have a gig, that's perfectly okay.
Yeah.
So
But I
I
could
guess
probably try watch on Tuesday. Actually, no, I'm going to college on Tuesday.
Yeah.
No,
If it's
wait.
mate,
What?
listen. If it's in the morning,
Yeah.
forget about it because you'll be in
No,
class. It's
but
not worth
Manny,
it.
if we made it through to the semis or final, would it be a different time?
Let me
Because
check and
what's the time difference between Australia and the UK? Is it like Australia's
I
behind
believe
us?
it's from anywhere from 9 to maybe 10 hours, I believe.
Ahead or
Yeah,
behind?
Australia's ahead, so
Oh,
I
right.
believe New Zealand is actually a full 12 hours ahead of the
Wait,
UK, so you're literally
so
on the other side of the
what
world.
sports channels do you have in India? What do you watch the cricket and football
Yeah, the
on?
cricket is being shown on Star Sports.
And then what about the football that you watch? What's that on? Is that Star Sports?
If it's the Premiership, it'll be on Star Sports Select. If it's the
Oh,
Champions
right.
League and the Europa League, it will be on the Sony network. I
Right.
believe we should be receiving coverage of the FA Cup very soon. That should be on the Sony
Yeah.
network. EFL Cup has not been decided as of yet. And if I want Championship football, I'm going to have to possibly get another entertainment channel. That doesn't really work. So here's the time for the semi-finals. I'll just share that with you right now. Yeah, give me a
Yeah,
minute.
they're 12 hours ahead in Australia. That is true. So
No,
it's
they're not. No, not
currently
12. Not 12. It's about 9 to
yeah,
sort of
because
10
it's
or 11.
36 past 8 here, and then it's 7:36 in Australia the next day. So wait, do they have Christmas Day before us then?
No, but because they're in the southern hemisphere, their Christmas is in the summer. So there's no
Oh,
white Christmas, only a yellow Christmas where they'll be on the beach.
because you know
Yeah.
about Qatar as well. You know Qatar's the World Cup's in January, November, isn't it? Because it's summer there at that
No, no, no,
time.
no, 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 no. The reason why is because summers over in the Middle East are very hot, not so humid,
Oh,
but the temperatures are so high it is unfit to play. So here's the
right,
situation. Yeah, the first semi-final will be on the 9th of November at the Sydney Cricket Ground. That is an evening game at 9 p.m. local time,
right. I
which
could
might
watch that.
be, which could very well be at night in the morning in the UK, maybe
But how
9
long do
a.m. I
these
think.
games last, Manny? How long do they?
Calm down, calm down. I'm coming
Oh,
to that. I'm coming to that. Okay, I'm coming to that.
all right,
And the
all right,
second game will also be at 6:30 in the evening.
okay,
That will be from the Adelaide Oval in Adelaide, and the final is also going to be a nighttime affair. That'll be at 7 o'clock local time from the Melbourne Cricket Ground. That should be at about maybe 8 or 9 a.m. UK time. And so, to answer your question earlier,
yeah,
these games will are normally stated to last for about 4 hours. It could be
oh,
even shorter depending on events in the middle. So
yeah.
hopefully this
Because I
will give
probably
you an
won't be able to
idea.
watch the 9 p.m. or because I go to bed
Yeah.
around 10 o'clock. So.
No, 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 no. I mean, it's in the morning for you, yeah?
Oh no, yeah. I mean, yeah, the morning, yeah.
Yeah, so you're not going to be going to bed at 10 in the morning, will you?
No, no, I mean 10 in the evening. Sorry, that's what I
Yeah,
meant.
I mean, but look, these are
Yeah,
all morning times, mate. So you can watch them in the morning, and then they'll go until about maybe I want to say 1:30 in the afternoon. You can sort in the middle of the innings, you can get yourself a snack or have some lunch
yeah,
or brunch or whatever, and then just
yeah. I
come
call
back
it
and watch
brunch.
the
Yeah,
yeah. So you can hope to try if let's say England qualify as runners-up in Group One. They will play in the second semi-final on the 10th of November. You can
against who?
catch that the winner of Group Two, which could probably be
Right.
South Africa.
So if we won the group, we would pay whoever's second in the other group.
Yes, exactly.
Right. Okay.
And
I
then,
get
of
it now.
course, the final will be between the winners of both those, the winner of both of winners of both games. That'll be at the iconic Melbourne Cricket Ground. I'm hoping and praying that there will be no rain that day,
Yeah.
because if the tournament were to be shared, it would be an absolute farce.
Yeah.
So about this time now, we're going to end this stream. I just want to say thanks
Yep.
a lot for coming along. This was, of course, supposed to be a review of the action from today and earlier on in the week. And of course, we've got some good cricket coming up. We're going to try and bring that to everyone. And of course, we will have review shows and predictions for the weekend games. We're trying our best to provide coverage of this. It's good to see that there are more cricket fans. So if you do want to join in, just speak to Hanno about this. But
Yeah. I'll
I mean,
DM him.
yeah. So hopefully you'll be able to watch a little bit of the cricket, see what you like, and we'll hope that England will get their act together, beat New Zealand, and qualify. But
Yeah.
it won't be easy, let me tell you.
Well, no, it's easier said than done. So
Exactly. So
yeah.
I'm going to give you an opportunity to shout out your channels and tell people where
Yeah.
they can find you.
Yeah, so as usual, you can find me Deej Co on YouTube. I'm going to be going live tomorrow at 7 p.m. with a match reaction for all the games in the week, game week. And I've actually activated my wildcard in FBL, so I'll talk about that maybe. later on, but we won't talk about that. And then you can find me on Instagram, personal account ollie.sinclair556. That's where I post about stories and posts and stuff like that, and I can obviously follow you back and like your posts and stuff and DM you. And then if you want to find me on another account, my fan page, Aaron Ramsey _ fan page 1, and then on TikTok, if you want to find me there, I do videos and stuff like that. It's Ollie's Epic 556 and Jonas Su fan page UK21. For other socials, Xbox and PlayStation, just DM me for that. I'm currently not on Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, or any of that. I'm just on Instagram and YouTube and TikTok. And then you can click the link in my bio on my main Instagram account for any other socials, or DM me for any other socials. But yeah, big up Manny for having me on, and Hanno as well. So hopefully I can be on for more cricket streams, as I am an England fan. So hopefully England do well in the World Cup as well. So yeah, just mainly find me DJ Sinclair on YouTube, stream tomorrow at 7 p.m. And also big up Arrest Talks Football. Me and Manny make an appearance there. I made an appearance earlier on, but they have got a stream at 9 p.m. So catch MK the Don, Deji, and Arrest for a very entertaining stream at 9 p.m. And as I said, 7 p.m. tomorrow. Don't miss my stream, and follow both my Instagram accounts. Maybe follow my personal account and follow my TikTok as well. But yeah, big up Manny and Hanno for having me on.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks a lot for coming on, mate. And obviously with me, you can catch me on Twitter at Thangadare1981. My Instagram account, if you want a closer connection, is Manny Thangadare1981. And you can catch me on a few channels on YouTube. As Ollie has mentioned, I come on his channel quite often, and also on RS Talks Football, mainly a lot of other football channels. But huge shout out as well to the Coach's Corner and Hanno Trollope, of course. Do please subscribe to his channel. Make sure you click the bell button for notifications on more sports content, be it football, cricket, or basketball, or any other sport. Some really good stuff over here. And Hanno's details are here if you want to get in touch with him. It is Hanno_coach_corner at Instagram. On Twitter, it is Hanno708303030. That is Hotel Alpha November Oscar 708303030. And of course, for the Twitter handle, it is capital H. And all I can say is thank you all very much for joining in. We will bring you more
James
coverage.
join as well? Earlier,
he did, and he had to leave. So obviously, he's not that much of a cricket fan. He just wanted to join in and really just say whatever he could about.
And Hanno did join as well.
Yeah, of course, it's his channel, so he obviously had to come in a bit later.
But no, I just wanted to say big up Manny for hosting the streams as well. They've been fun.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that. But
we do want your YouTube channel very soon.
Yeah, I'll get to that. I will get to that. I promise.
Joe has made a YouTube channel. I
know. I have subscribed to that, and I'm waiting for his content. Okay, so don't worry about this.
Well, he has a video. I was in his new video, so
yes. I will check that out. I promise you, I will check that out. Okay. Yeah. So looking forward to that as well. So once again, thanks to everyone for joining in. Thanks a lot for being good company, and we will continue bringing coverage of the 2020 World Cup as and when it happens, if possible, depending on our schedules and when we'll be free. And of
if
course,
England win the World Cup, I'll wear an England top.
Yes. By all means, that will happen.
Yeah.
So once again, thank you all very much indeed for your time. Peace. Take care of yourselves. Have a good night. Have a good week ahead. And we are out.